This is lesson 12 in domain 10. It is also our final lesson in this domain, and the title of this lesson is What do a flag, a bell, and an eagle have in common? At the end of this lesson, you are going to be able to explain the significance of the U.S. flag, the Liberty Bell, and the bald eagle. Like always, we do have some vocabulary words we will have to be familiar with while we listen to this lesson. The first one is bald eagle, which is the national bird of the United States. Liberty Bell, the bell that was rung to call people to meetings in Philadelphia. It's one of the symbols of the United States. Seal, an official image or mark, not the animal. And symbols, images or objects that represent something else. What do a flag, a bell, and an eagle have in common with each other? All three of these are symbols of the United States of America. A symbol is a sign that everybody recognizes and stands for something else. People see a stop sign and know exactly what it stands for. For example, does your school have a mascot, a logo, or a banner? Something that makes you think of your school every time you see it. Many sports teams have symbols. Can you think of any? We have symbols all around us. Before you even learned to read words, you probably learned to read symbols. Let's find out how a flag, a bell, and an eagle came to be symbols of or represent the United States of America. You already know a little bit about our flag from the legend of Betsy Ross that we heard about in an earlier lesson in this domain. The flag with its circle of 13 stars was not the first flag to be flown in America. During the early days of exploration, flags of many different countries were used to represent land claims. The first official flag of our nation was the one that you learned about, flown on Independence Day, July 4th, 1776, and adopted by the Continental Congress a year later on June 14th, 1777. Do you remember what the 13 stars and stripes stood for? Take a minute, see if you can remember. Yep, they were the symbols for the 13 colonies that later became 13 states. As the country grew, more states were added. With each new state, a new star was added to the flag. Pretty soon there were too many stars to fit in a circle, so the patterns changed over the years. Now we have 50 states and 50 stars arranged in rows, still on a blue background like the original flag. The same 13 red and white stripes remain as reminders of the original 13 colonies. June 14th is National Flag Day in the United States, but our flag is flown every day all across America, from the Atlantic to the Pacific Ocean, as a symbol of the land of freedom. It is pretty easy to understand how the stars and stripes became a symbol for our nation, but what about a bell? The Liberty Bell, another well-known symbol, is actually older than the United States itself. In 1751, the Moseley copper bell was made in Great Britain and shipped to Philadelphia, where it was rung to call people to meetings in the town square. According to legend, the Liberty Bell may have been rung from the State House steeple after the Declaration of Independence was first read in July of 1776, but we do not know for sure. During the Revolution, the colonists feared that the British might melt down the bell for cannonballs, so it was moved and hidden in a town north of Philadelphia until the war ended. Over the years, the bell cracked and was repaired several times. It was rung for the last time on George Washington's birthday in 1846 when it cracked beyond repair. Today, the bell sits outside Independence Hall in Philadelphia. It is only about 3 feet tall, but it weighs as much as a hippopotamus. If you visit the Liberty Bell, be sure to look for the words of freedom, taken from the Bible and written on its side. Proclaim liberty throughout all the land, and unto all the inhabitants thereof. Leviticus 25:10. So we have a flag and a bell. The third symbol is a bald eagle, a large bird of prey with a white head and tail, found only in North America. Who chose the American bald eagle as a symbol of our country? To find out, we must return once more to our friends Thomas Jefferson and Benjamin Franklin. When the Second Continental Congress met and declared independence from Great Britain, they also decided that they needed an official seal. Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, and John Adams met to design the seal. They talked about using an eagle on the seal, but Franklin said, "No, I do not agree. I think that a turkey would be a much better symbol of our country than an eagle." As there was not much time, the men only agreed on part of the seal that year, a statement that read "E pluribus unum," which in Latin means "out of many, one." They chose this saying because they were making one nation out of many separate states. It was not until 6 years later, in 1782, that the bald eagle, a symbol of long life, strength, and freedom, was officially added to the seal. On the seal, the eagle holds an olive branch for peace in one of its talons, and in the other it grips a bundle of 13 arrows, symbolizing the power of war. Covering its breast is a shield of red and white stripes, and around its head a crest with 13 stars. If you look carefully, you might even be able to read the words written on the scroll in its bill. E pluribus unum. Out of many, one. Now that you know what to look for, try being a symbol detective. As you go through your day, be on the lookout for flags, bells, and eagles, symbols of freedom, and reminders of our country's founders who fought for our freedom long ago. So that concludes this domain, our social studies domain. When you are finished with this lesson and you've learned all you need to learn, please go back to Seesaw and complete the activity that goes along with these 3 symbols: the U.S. flag, the bald eagle, and the Liberty Bell.